one and only disclaimer/warning. The topics, events, or subjects of the following stories are only meant to entertain, never to offend. If you are easily offended, please leave immediately. Seriously, go. I don't have time to debate you for any reason ever. Go disappoint your parents elsewhere. The topics of which you are about to be subjected to include graphic content, non-PC behavior/speech, adult content. It is not for children. Dark humor, bad jokes, sex, violence, drugs. I do not censor myself, and I never will. That being said, these stories are intended for immature audiences and should never be taken seriously. You've all been warned. Without further ado, ladies, gentlemen, people that exist and hate being labeled, I give to you my PANICdotes. Always real, always raw, forever.
Oh, you wanted me to don the cape and rescue you like a hero should do. Then you realize I can't fly. I can't jump 1,000,000 feet into the sky. You felt like what seems for forever. Where did your logic actually sever? Oh, I don't want your heart in my hand.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Seth Hearn. What's up? Welcome to the very first edition of PANICdotes. Now, you can stop pretending like you know who I am. You don't. I wasn't in that thing with that one guy. No. Okay. I'm not a celebrity. I haven't been in a sex tape that you would want to see. And also, well, I'm just a guy that a bunch of crazy shit happened to. Don't worry, we'll get into that. But first, let's talk about the subject at hand. Sex. Because, in the grand scheme of things, that's why we're here. Sex is one of the most important things of life. We gotta start facing it, right? Well, some people are still prudes. You need to stop that shit. Anyways, enjoy. The first story is about how I lost my V card. Yeah, try to think of that and sleep at night. I was 15 years old when I lost my V card. Was it a romantic affair? Were there birds tweeting in the air? Was there a making love on an animal skin rug moment? No, not even a little. A little bit of backstory. When I was in junior high, there was this school dance. I want to say it was Sadie Hawkins. This young, attractive person comes walking up to me and asks me if I would like to go to the dance with her. So I said, sure, of course. I mean, you're beautiful, I'm not, I'm awkward, touch my boner, whatever, whatever gets me in the door. And, so, I get excited, obviously. I'm, stoked that any girl would ever talk to me, especially a cute one, right? So, come the night of the dance, I get stood up. What the fuck, right? Well, next day I go to school, people are visibly laughing at me. And I'm some kind of funny joke that apparently I was the only one who didn't know the punchline to. Or even the setup. Well, I approached that young woman, and I said to her, hey, what the hell happened? And she said that she didn't think I was actually going to show up. And I asked what? I mean, how shallow do you think I am? I mean, I'm horrible. I got acne, I got, 2 hairs on my nuts, and I'm freaking weird. So, why would you think I wouldn't show up? And then she said, well, the whole point was I was supposed to ask the ugliest person in the school to go to the dance with me. And I thought you knew because, everyone seemed to know that gag. Yeah, that was news to me. And I don't look like goddamn Dan Rather, now do I? Exactly. So from that point on, I wasn't exactly trusting of beautiful women. Actually, to this day, I'm still not. I dig people that are like me. You understand? Like, I like people that are in my wheelhouse, not away from it. And the reason why is because I don't have anything in common with them. They don't really know what struggle is. I do. Look at this. Of course I do. However, a couple of weeks went by. The laughter had died down, thank God. And one of the friends from this girl's group walks up to me, a bit of a bigger girl. Her name was Renee. And she walks up to me and says, look, I didn't want them to do that. I feel really bad that they did that to you. You've always been really nice to me. So, how about, as an apology, because she's never going to say a word, how about I take you out to a movie or a dinner or something? And I didn't know if it was a trick or not. Same group of friends. It just seemed like they were just, trying to get that little bit extra, that little extra jab in, right? So I said, yeah, whatever. Little did I know she was actually serious, and about 2 or 3 days later, she did come up to me and give me her number and said, look, whenever you want to go out, just give me a call and we'll hit it up. So we did, right on. One random Saturday, I was at home doing me shit, and the phone rings, and of course it's her, and she wants to know if I want to come over because her parents are out of town. Totally oblivious. Wasn't exactly all that knowledged at signals just yet. So I decide, yeah, of course I will. So I ride my bike over there. She's in a tank top and a pair of shorts. Again, oblivious. She takes me in and she says, look, I just wanted to say that I really think you are cool and funny and you're handsome. It's like, well, bitch, you ain't gotta tell me twice. She just looks at me and says, I want to be your first. First what? First one in, first one out? Like, I don't understand. What are we, like, FIFO-ing this motherfucker? And she says, no, I want to be your first, time. Just whatever. So we do, and she decides to put some music on, and there's silence for a little while, almost a minute. I'm just like, is your fucking stereo broken? Because something's not right here. And I realized that the reason why I was silent is because it was Korn. The album Follow the Leader. There's like 48 seconds of silence. And to a fallen fan, a tribute or something like that. I'm about to lose my virginity while Korn is playing in the background. It's the fucking childhood dream, dude. Totally is. And so, she starts doing this little dance and kind of pulls her shirt up to show me her boobies. They looked like an 80-year-old's boobies on a 15-year-old's body. Really weird. They looked like dead fish, had stuff floating in them. I don't know. It was just weird. But of course, my naive ass, I'm just like, hey, titties. So, she pulls off her pants. So, she decides to come on over. Starts rubbing on me. It's feeling nice. However, she went down on my old man Johnson. Well, I had watched porn before. I mean, I am 15 after all, and I just discovered the internet at this time, so yeah, shit was tight. However, I don't think I've ever seen a person give head that looks like a chicken pecking for worms. Just no idea. No idea. If she would have did the bagak, I probably would have just... It wouldn't have been a pretty sight. Would look like a Jackson Pollock painting, if you catch my drift. After she was done with whatever that was, she decided that she was going to go ahead and climb aboard the SS Sith. You know what I'm saying? But the movement, I guess, from her and me, I don't know, it just didn't give her enough balance, so she fell off. Twice. I didn't know what to do, and the motion sickness was getting me all kinds of fucked up, so I just took charge. And I rolled her over. And for 30 minutes, yours truly spasmed on top of this beast and blew it all over her face. Now, and at this point, I feel I'm a man now. Never mind the fact that I have bigger titties than she did. Neither here nor there. The following Monday at school, she decided that she was going to tell people that I had a small dick. I mean, I do, but what the fuck, dude? It's my personal business. Why you gotta start shit, bro? So to her, I say, if a gorilla and a penguin could ever figure out a way to reproduce and have an offspring, you'd be the candidate. Have a lovely day, and thanks for listening. Did you know that sex could be downright horrifying? Who knew? One of the greatest and most funnest things ever. Sometimes can be fucking awful. In the next story that I will be telling you, you'll realize very quickly I know what I'm talking about. I was 19 years old, wise about some things, terribly naive on others. One of the things that I thought I knew was that whenever you do foreplay, women get naturally wet. Well, I'm about to prove that theory wrong. A girl I was dating at the time, her name was Kitty. And this is one of our first times together, so I don't know much about her, and she doesn't know much about me, what we like, and all that stuff, and what gets us going. So, and also at this time, I was still very novice-ish at sex, and I didn't quite perfect the art yet. And I still haven't. I'm trying, guys. You know, it's been a long fucking time. There's no Rosetta Stone for fucking. But I think my eagerness more than made up for it. You know, being a fat guy, being, you know, slobberingly grateful for any type of action that he can truly get. Hell, like, you could just be flicking my nut like that. I don't care. It's whatever. I'm into it. So me and Kitty are there, and getting hot and heavy. I dig it. And, you know, I'm sitting there, and I'm going for broke, dude. It's like a fat kid with a fucking watermelon, just, you know, I was just there. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, you know, and then finally the moment of truth comes, and I'm about to park the car in the garage, so to speak. And then I feel and sort of hear a rip. I look down. My dick was bleeding profusely. I responded in kind. At first I thought she was on her period or something, and it caused me pain somehow. I don't know. Louisiana public school. What do you want from me? And then I realized, no, it's me. I'm gushing, and it's bad. And I just hop off of her. I run to the bathroom. I grab the nearest thing I could find, which is this old yellow washcloth. And I stick it down there, and I'm applying pressure, man, and I'm applying pressure. And then just, I don't know where, like, just a weird, like, little... Well, that would have been nice to know 5 minutes ago before I ripped my dick in your vaginal desert. Awesome sauce. I'm not 100% sure the protocol for something like this, but I don't know a whole lot of guys who bleed from the dick. So we just decided to head to our local ER, and the homely looking nurse that was behind the glass with the face made for radio. She then tells me that she doesn't get wet in that way. I walk upon there and I got the rag still and I'm holding it and I'm just in pain. This dumbass actually had the nerve to ask me, "What's your emergency?" So very woozy, mind you, from the blood loss. I just, kindly pick up the rag and say, "You see this red rag? It used to be yellow." So they get this wheelchair for me that looks like it was made for a toddler. Now, I don't know if you fine folk out there can tell, but I am 6'2". One of these things is not like the other. I'm in, I guess what you would be called the triage room. That's what I'm guessing it would be called. And I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting, just sitting there. And all of a sudden, this young African-American doctor comes in, looking real proud, confident, I like his vibe. I dig it. And it's funny because he's not exactly looking at me when he first comes in. So he's just got my chart and he's just like, "Oh, okay, Mr. Hearn, what's going on?" And he just kind of looks up and all of a sudden he realizes that there's blood on my crotch. I'm still holding said aforementioned rag. And he immediately went from totally, fucking all business, totally great bedside manner to turning into Martin Lawrence in 2 seconds. Don't do the voice. That's how you get canceled. All jokes aside, this doctor, 10 out of 10 would recommend, just for his bedside manner alone. The funniest thing, man, as he's freaking out, he walks up to me, he grabs my hand, like I was like this Vietnam wounded soldier or something. He said, "Don't look at the needle. Look at me. Keep it here. Look. And just, all right, dude, chill." Then here comes the nurse with the thread and the needle. I have no idea what I just got myself into because, again, other than the very select few that look at that shit as a fetish, how many people do you know get needles in their dick? Not many. I fucking hope. They give me some kind of painkiller. But I'll tell you this, guys. I felt it. Every little bit. Ow. That shit ain't right. And look, I think I blacked out. Because seriously, I don't remember much after the first initial jab. But they realized very quickly that I have no clothes. All I'm wearing is my red plaid boxers. That's it. So they give me some kind of little hospital gown dealy. They said I'll be all right. They don't need to keep me for observation. They just wanted to make sure that I got home and not half naked. So I realized as soon as I get to the lobby that Kitty had left me there. Apparently she was way too tired to wait around. So it's fine. It's all good. I decide I gotta lie to the nurse, though, because you're not supposed to leave the hospital when you're heavily medicated like I was. And I lied to her, and you could tell this person did not give a shit about their job or even care about following up with me. They were just like, whatever, okay. I was like, yeah, like somebody's coming, just, I'm waiting. Nobody was coming. So as soon as that person turned in, I started walking down the street. So I'm walking. And then from behind me, I hear the sound that no man or woman, possibly child, ever wants to hear at that time of night. A fucking police siren. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, my asshole closed tighter than a time lock at a bank. What's even funnier is, he didn't even say a word to me. Must have not wanted to trifle with a 6'2" guy with a bloody wiener. Frankenbeanus. So I finally get back to the house. Kitty is passed out. Couldn't even wait up for me. That bitch. But instead of making a big deal out of it, I just said, screw it. I'm going to sleep on the couch. Well, I woke up a few hours later. Now, this next part of the story here, I'm going to be real with you. I've been blackout drunk. I've been fucked up on drugs. I once drank an entire bottle of Dimetap cold medicine. Because I fucking like to party. But I can tell you this, I have never had a true blackout moment until today. Because I honestly had no recollection of what happened the night prior. All I knew is it was morning time and I had to piss. And I'll tell you this, guys. I know how it goes. In the morning time, for a man, I don't really know what happens if you're a woman because I do not have a vagina. But his beard always smells like one. What? Now, gentlemen, I've heard the term pissing razors, and I never knew what the hell that term meant. I just thought it just meant something that was very uncomfortable. Well, I was right, because it fucking is. And I'm screaming, and I'm crying, and I hit the floor. I hit the knees. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just like, ah, God, I'm in pain. And Kitty has the nerve to come in there and say, can you please keep it down? My mom's trying to sleep. I said, can you go buy some fucking lube? Because I think your pussy just committed a hate crime on my dick. So, the moral of the story, if there was one, would probably be always check the oil, people. Yeah. We're dirty. Ha! A few months after the It Used to Be Yellow story, I decided that it was time for me to get it on again. This time I was going to be extremely careful. So I was at this party, and apparently they were having a lot more fun than I was having because they decided to do some recreational drugs. I decided that tonight was only going to be a drinking night. So I was drinking mixed this and shots of that. Keeping the variety alive. When I noticed this young and somewhat attractive woman that I will call Katie. Katie walks up to me and asks me, why am I sitting down and not in the room with the others? And I said, because, quite frankly, I don't do hard drugs and my brain cannot sink to the level of a toddler right now. She was intoxicated too. On what? I don't know, but she was a hell of a lot more interesting than the others. So, we had a good talk about music, movies, yada yada, etc., so on and so on. She then says, hey, well, I live alone and I have an apartment on the other side of town. Why don't we go there and we can finish our conversation? This party's getting kind of lame anyways. I'm gonna get some booty. But was it really worth it? We'll sure find out. And I don't exactly remember how we ended up where we ended up, but where we ended up was fucked up. We must have drove for about 20 minutes. I gotta be honest with you. Liquor was strong, liquor was cheap. And it had been flowing through my veins for about 2 hours now. I was fucked up. She had told me that she wanted to be in the living room to where we could finish our conversation. I admit, I must be a smooth talker when I'm drunk, because quite frankly, I don't remember laying any moves on this girl. Either that, or she was just ready to go. Green light go. You know what I mean? The only thing I mainly remember is that she was on top of me at one point, furiously riding my dick as if she was trying to last the full 8 seconds. She wasn't getting 8. Ain't no way. Look at this. No, sir. I mean, the lights are on, but ain't nobody home. No, sir. And then I kind of closed my eyes, trying to get my bearings a little bit because she's just, So I'm being ridden like a stallion. And I hear some paper rustling, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm assuming she's reaching for something. And then I notice she pulls out a Subway sandwich. Double meat meatball, sir. I don't judge this bitch's eating habits. Might be lunchtime. Or breakfast. I was drunk. How can I remember? As I'm staring into her eyes, I know that she's enjoying the penis just as much as the 12-inch. So I close my eyes, I'm just enjoying the show. And then I feel something wet smack across my forehead. Yeah. What the fuck? It was a meatball. As I realize what is happening, that a meatball has hit me now in the face. I have one of two options. One, freak out. Bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why is there sauce on my face? Or you can go with option two, which is what I did. I ate the goddamn thing, and I kept pounding. Chef Boyardee ain't got nothing on me. But, as one can imagine, she was embarrassed. Well, maybe you shouldn't be eating Subway while the sweet art of love making is taking place. The embarrassment for her was great. I can't say I blame her. She asked me kindly to leave, and I did. As I am leaving the Subway succubus's home, I realized that my cell phone only has 2 numbers on it that I could possibly call to get me out of this jam. One was not going to happen, and the other was a friend of mine named Joe. He had insomnia, like me, thank you anxiety, and decided to call him, and then he was able to come get me. However, what I was not prepared for was the slew of questions that I was going to have to answer. Why am I half naked? And is that blood on my face? Nope. Sauce. Once upon a time, I met a girl online. Her name was Lainey. She was actually a very nice chick, and I really liked her. At the time of meeting her, I had just been involved in a pretty nasty breakup, but it was going nowhere beforehand. Honestly, I don't even know why I bothered trying so hard, but it was what it was. The online dating world is not exactly my forte, but I knew that I didn't have much of a life and didn't really go anywhere, that this was probably my best shot at meeting someone. So I finally did. We went to a movie, Superbad. It's kind of a romantic comedy, whatever. But after returning to my house, I had realized that my psycho ex, Olga, had been there, just waiting for me to return. She saw a strange car in my driveway and wanted to know what was up. Yep, stage 2 stalker. That's what I was dealing with. It became an episode of the Jerry Springer Show real quick, and Lainey left. I didn't think I'd ever see her again, but after a couple of days of talking, I convinced her enough to give me a second chance, because that wasn't me. I wasn't just some guy that just hurt people and then kept trying to hurt more people. So she had come over, and finally, her and I were able to have some alone time. And we were going for it, making out, rubbing all over one another like butter on a biscuit. And she wanted me to take a walk down, if you know what I mean. You do. I pull off her pants quicker than a fat kid pulls off the wrapper of a fudgesicle. And I'm making my way down there. Choo. And as I finally get in position, I realize that my stomach is now pressing on the bed. And well, my colon decided to pull off the ultimate cock block. I farted. Loud. And it wasn't a cute, let my butt whisper something to you type of fart. No, it sounded like the inside of my butthole had Satan in it. There's no way she didn't hear it, but I tried to play it cool. I looked up at her. That slipped. I tried to resume my meal, but no, my asshole had now prevented that. What the fuck? I thought we were supposed to be cool, intestines. And as I'm trying to get her settled back down, my brother decides he wants to make a house visit. My brother and my colon working together. It's like the new Russia and Germany. What the fuck? After the whole ordeal and hours of braying laughter, she dated me for 2 years. So, silver lining, I guess? Or brown lining. Fucker. New Orleans. The land of getting insanely fucked up. For no good reason. Just cause. Me, my brother, and his friend Pete were going to see a comedian in the city, and, well, he wanted to go to a strip club at 11:30 in the morning. I don't get it either. Because at 11:30 in the morning, you're definitely not dealing with the A-listers. You're dealing with the B squad with bullet holes and eye patches and shit. Making their way to the stage. Lucky. Don't mind the peg leg. I immediately started drinking cola and whiskey because, quite frankly, what I'm about to see, I'm going to need to be at least slightly blackout drunk. Me and my brother are still extremely confused as to why we are sitting in a strip club at 11:30 in the morning, but Pete's the ride, so we ride his mercy. The first girl comes on, and she's not as bad as I was thinking. Does your typical stuff, twerk, pole dance, the whole nine. A little gaudo fabulous. Nothing wrong with that. I like a little junk in the trunk. And as I'm saying this, the second girl walks out. And I'm not really paying attention because literally I'm not really a big fan of strip clubs. I think it's kind of ridiculous. If you want to see someone naked, then you should actually get to know them. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. And I'm not really paying attention, but the second girl comes out. And I go to turn to my brother to ask him the question that he and I have both been thinking, but had been a little too nervous to say out loud, which is, what the fuck are we doing here? And I see something kind of moving, what looks to be towards me. So I turn, and sure enough, this woman with a giant ass is backing up towards me. I swear to God, like in my head, I just hear beep, beep, beep. Wide load, for real. And I'm a little bit of a freak. I don't mind an ass and all. Put it right there, bud. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. But this particular ass was not my friend. No, sir. Because as she is backing this giant trailer load of an ass, I notice that there is a giant visible shit streak on her underwear. This bitch was trying to put doo-doo butter on my lip. What the fuck is wrong with you? Have you no home training? Get your corn smear away from me, bitch. Nobody wanted to see that racing stripe. Ever. However, I reacted more out of reflex than anything because, quite frankly, if I have doo-doo coming near my face, I normally tend to try to block it. Well, I slapped the ever-living hell out of her ass. Just ba-bow. The power of cheese and rice compels you, bitch. And it was at that time that I remembered that you are not supposed to touch the women at all. And there was a bouncer kind of staring at me just. So I hurry up. I finished my drink. I thought about dousing my eyeballs with it, but that's a perfectly good waste of whiskey, and I'm not about that life. If it wasn't for whiskey, I wouldn't be here. So I take my exit as quickly as I came in. Later on, we decide probably best to go ahead and get to the venue to see the comedian. So we're standing in line, and I sort of crouched down because my legs were getting tired. Being fat and tall, not a good combination. And I, light a smoke, and I'm sitting there and I'm smoking, and I look over to my right, and I notice that Pete has a shit ton of jizz on his pants. Whether it was created by he or the girl he got a lap dance from. Yeah, 11:30 lap dance. The fuck, Pete. Is face AIDS a thing? Because if so, I think I'm at patient 0. But I quietly turn and start to gag. So, if you ever meet me in person and you think, we should take that guy to a strip club, I prefer you didn't. This has got to be the one story I've been reluctant to tell, because it's embarrassing. But my motto is, if it's funny, who gives a fuck? So I was still married at the time when this story took place. Me and my ex-wife were currently at the time staying with her folks. Now, one random day, her children weren't there, her folks weren't there, and it was just her and I, and we were outside, and, well, we got a little frisky, to say the least. We were happened to be outside smoking cigarettes when we had the bright idea of let's just have some outside sex, right? So we go to the back of the house just in case someone does happen to pull up. We have a little bit of leeway to pull up our pants and get dressed, right? So her and I get into it, man, and it's hot and heavy. And boy, we're just going at it. We're attacking each other like fucking polar bears on trout. And we're getting it, and we're getting it. And I'm on top, and I'm naked. She's naked, and it's just one of those things. I had never really had true blue outside sex where there's like nothing or no one distracting us, right? So I'm going for it, and I'm going for it, and I'm going for it. All of a sudden, I hear something behind me, but I don't really think too much because, well, quite frankly, I'm in the zone. The thing that was behind me happened to be a chocolate lab named Willie. And, well, I think he wanted to make it a 3-way. Player 3 has entered the game. Bastard licked me from sack to crack. Like the most fucked up ice cream you've ever had, just meh. And of course, after feeling his tongue on my taint, tried to thrust forward to get away. Well, my ex-wife probably thought I was trying to go deeper, but nope. Apparently I have a goddamn dog trying to toss my salad. Seriously, that bark was the most well-timed shit ever, right? Papa? It wouldn't have been so bad if I didn't have a dog trying to toss my salad. And after explaining it to her, well, let's just say we didn't continue. Could have bought me fucking dinner first, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, but once I enter your veins, you'll never be sane the same. Addicted to the pain, and never will let subside or refrain. So scared of what could be, you being miserable with me. You'll come back eventually, but remember, baby, only the first taste is free. Oh, yeah, only the first taste is free.